Hey guys, my name is Cheers. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make your very own clicking simulator part 4. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. This video is sponsored by Bloxland. Head over to Bloxland using the link down in the description, and thank you Bloxland for sponsoring today's video. So I'm so happy to be back. Sorry I've been gone for a while, just been catching up with exams and stuff, but I'm back, and in this video we are going to be making a rebirthing system for our clicking simulator. Now I do want to say this is a very complicated video, so please pay attention. And yeah, because so many people have been telling me their scripts aren't working, I'm telling them, please make sure you spell everything right. You do not make spelling mistakes. You can't make mistakes or it will not work. So let's get on. So the first thing you're going to want to do is in your replicated storage, you're going to want to insert a folder. Call this folder Rebirths folder. And then in there, you're going to want to insert another folder. Rename this folder to 1, and then in there, insert a number value. Duplicate that value. Rename one of them to amount, and another one to cost, just like that. Now the amount, we're going to set this to 1, so the amount is how many rebirths it will be. So this will be 1 rebirth, and let's say the cost is 100 clicks, just like that. And then you can duplicate this a few times. So each time you duplicate it, make sure to change the folder name to 1 more in the numerical value. Change the amount in there, so let's say we want this to be 5 rebirths. This can cost 500. And then in here we can say, well, this is going to be 10 rebirths. This can cost 1,000, just like that. So how many rebirths you want, just duplicate this and change the amount and the cost values to their designated values. So in your starter GUI, insert a screen GUI. Rename this to Rebirths GUI, just like that. So before we go any further, open your server script service here. Open your stats script and then copy this paragraph here, paste it twice. Now change the name of here to Rebirths, copy that, paste it there, paste it there, paste it there, and change this here to Rebirths, and then change this to Gems, Diamonds, whatever, and then paste that there, paste that there, paste that there, and change this to Gems. So I've already explained what this script does, so if you do not know, go back to episode 1 and it explains it all for you. So also in our save data script, open it up. So copy this line here, and I did this in episode 3, so make sure go back to episode 3 to check that out. So yeah, just duplicate, save 1, rename this to save 2, and change this to Rebirths. Copy this line here, paste it again, change this to save 2, and then get saved to. Then you want to duplicate this line here again, just like that. Change this to save 3, and change this to save Gems. And then you copy this here, and you paste it just like that. And then grab here, copy this, paste it, change this to save 2.value, and then comma, paste it, and change that to save 3.value, just like that. And then you want to copy this line here, comma, paste it, change this to Rebirths, just like that. And then you want to insert another comma and paste it again, and change this to Gems, just like that. So that is your data script and so if we test this out, we can see that we have clicks, rebirths, and gems, just like that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do is go down into your rebirths GUI, insert a frame, change the anchor point to 0.5, 0.5, so it says it on all resolutions, etc. of screen sizes. Change the size, let's say 0.5, 0.5, 0, just like that. And then you can center this to the center, just like that. And then you can customize it to however you want. So let's just make this blue, just like that. And then leave it as frame, just like that. And we can change the ball size pixel, just like that. So, in here, insert a scrolling frame, right? Rename this to secondary frame, just like that. And then you're going to want to set the anchor point 0.5, 0.5, and then let's say 1, 0, 0.8, 0, just like that. And then you can scale it down, and then we're going to set the background transparency to 1 and the border size pixel to 0, just like that. Now in your frame, insert a text label, rename this label to title, and then you can change the text to say rebirths. Change the size of it to 1, 0, 0.2, 0, just like that. Maybe we can change this to 1.5, just like that. We can change the background transparency to 1 and the border size pixel 0. You can text scale it and change the font, so we can change this to, let's say, Fredoka 1, just like that, and we can make text color white, make it more appealing, just like that. So now what you want to do is in your frame itself, you want to insert a UI aspect ratio constraint and change the aspect ratio to 1.78, just like that. And what this will do is this will make it scale on all devices, just like that. So that it will make it scale on all devices. And as you can see, it also changed this, so what we can do in here, and then in here you can just add in a UI aspect ratio constraint and change this aspect ratio to 4, just like that, and it will just change it just like that. So now if we check it on all sizes, it should stay the same. I know why it's not staying the same, because we haven't changed this here. So let's go 0.1, 0, 0.1, 0, just like that. And now it should be all fine just on all devices, just like that. So, in your secondary frame, you want to insert a UI list layout. Now, on this UI list layout, change the sort order to name, and that is all you want to do. Now, come up to your padding and change this to 0.10, 10, just like that. Now, in your frame, you're going to insert another frame, and you're going to want to rename this to template, just like that. And this is going to be your templates for your rebirthing button. So you can change this X value to 1, 0, 0.2, 0, just like that. We can move it down a bit. It really doesn't matter where the position is. You can change the background transparency. We can make it blue and make it maybe a little bit darker. We can also insert a UI corner, and we can make the corner to, let's say, 1, 0, just like that, and make it nice and round, just like that. Now you've gone in your template, you want to insert 2 text labels, just like that. Rename one of them to mount, and rename one of them to cost. And now what you want to do is you want to size them 0.1, 0.0, just like that. I'm just doing this very quickly, guys, because this is going to be a very long episode. Just like that, and you can grab the cost as well. 0.1, 0.1, 0, just like that. You can drag this as well, just like that. Maybe we can drag this just like that, and drag this up to here and up to here, just like that. So now you can check the background transparency to 1, so it makes it invisible. Hit text scale on both of them, you know, check the labels. This is amount, so we just set this to amount. And then this one, we can set this to cost, just like that. And then you can set the text font to whatever you want, so we can set it to Fredoka 1. It's a nice font. And you can change the text color to white, so it makes it more appealing, maybe. Just like that. And maybe we can drag this out a bit. And drag this out a bit. Just like that. So we have two ones right here. Now in here you want to insert a text button. Rename this to button, just like that. Drag this button over here, and you can size it however you want, just like that maybe. Maybe scale it down a bit. You can change this button color to maybe that. Maybe bring the thing down a bit so it changes color. Then maybe, let's say you want to make it round, you can insert a UI corner and just say 0.1, 0.5, 0, just like that. So now it will make it just like that. There we go. So now you can just customize your button to however you want. So we can change the size. Remember to change the size 0.1, 0.1, 0, and then change the size so it fits on all devices. Change the text to rebirth. Enable text scaled. Check it to white. And then change the font to whatever you want, really. It can be anything. Let's change the UI corner to maybe 0.3. There you go, just like that. So now that we've got that, go into your secondary frame and insert a local script. You can just leave the name, it doesn't matter. And you can say local template is equal to script.parent wait for child template, just like that. And this is just basically grabbing the template and making a variable. And then we're going to say local rs is equal to game get service replicated storage, and this is just creating a variable rs and basically getting our replicated storage service. And we're going to say local rebirths is equal to rs dot rebirths folder, just like that. Or even better, change this to wait for child and set this to rebirths folder. And so what this is doing is it's going to wait for the child rebirths folder, and it's going to find it in our replicated storage, just like that. Now you're going to say wait 1, come down for I, v in pairs rebirths get children do, just like that. Say local clone is equal to template clone, just like that. Clone dot name is equal to v.name, and then clone dot visible is equal to true, then clone dot parent is equal to script dot parent, just like that. So what this does is we're saying for I, v, which is basically two random letters you can have anything there, in pairs, and then we're finding rebirth folder, and we're getting all the children, so basically all the folders in there, and we're creating a variable clone, and we're cloning the template and setting the clone name to whatever the folder name is, and setting the visibility to true, and the parent to script.parent, aka our secondary frame. And basically what this does is for every folder you clone it and you create it new in the secondary frame, so we have more buttons. So the next thing we're going to want to do is, well, obviously we want to open the rebirths menu, don't we? So what we can do is we can go into our rebirths GUI, insert a text button, grab the button and scale it. So let's say 0.1 comes to 0.1 from 0, just like that. position it to wherever you want. Let's make the background color maybe that, and the border size pixel 0. Let's add in a GUI corner, so that's a 0.1 equals 0, maybe 0.3. There you go, just like that, to whatever you want really. I'm not really focusing on aesthetic right now, just functionality of it. Rename this to Open UI, and then come down and change it or whatever you want. You can change text and everything. Set it to Rebirth, enable text scaling, and now in here insert a local script and rename this local script to Open UI, just like that. And so we're going to say script.parent.mouse button one click :connect function bracket and come down line. And so basically this is saying, well, if a player clicks on the button, we're going to connect it and create a function. And now you're going to want to say script.parent.frame.visible is equal to true, just like that. And basically this is going to set our thing to true. So if when we click on it, it's going to set the frame to true, so we can enable it. And then in your frame, insert a text button, and then you can rename this to Close UI, just like that. You can size it 0.1 0, 0.1 0, just like that. You can drag it into the corner and scale it to whatever size you want, just like that. There you go, just like that. You can change it to maybe a red, just like that. Set the border size pixel to 0. Change this text to an X. Change it to your font, and then enable text scaled and have it as a white. And then you can also, let's say, add in a UI corner to round it, and let's go 0.2 equals 0, just like that, to round it up. So now that we have that, what we can do is insert a local script. In your local script, say script.parent.mouse button one click :connect functions bracket, and say script.parent.parent, which is grabbing the frame, and we say .visible is equal to false, just like that. And so what this is doing is, so we're connecting when the player clicks the button, and we're just going to set it to false. So if we just set our template visibility to false, just like that, and we click play, if we test it out, see we have no errors just right now. If we just wait for our loading screen to appear, then if we click the button, we can see that it appears right now, and as you can see, our things are visible. So what we need to do in order to hide this here, and if we just click the X, it works perfectly fine, just like that. So what we need to do is grab your template and set the visibility to false, just like that. And so now if we test it out, and then we can click a bit, etc, etc, we open the rebirths, and there you go, just like that, it is all sorted. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is, obviously, well, we have a rebirths, but when we click, we want to allow it so it can multiply our clicks. So this is very simple. So all you need to do is copy this line here, so open your add click cell, which is in your scripts folder in workspace, paste it here, change this to rebirths, and change this simply here to rebirths, and then you're going to want to time brackets and do times rebirths dot value, just like that, plus 1. And so basically what this does is, if we have 0 rebirths, we're going to make sure that it times it by 1. So obviously if we times it by 0, well then the answer will be 0, and so it's just not going to give us any clicks. So if we simply just click now, as you can see, we're gaining our clicks. If you look in the top right corner, And so if we didn't have this +1 part here, we just remove that there, and then we click play. It's not going to work because, well, it's timesing it by 0, just like that. So it's really important to have this +1 in, otherwise it will just break your script and it won't work. So the next thing you're going to want to do is come down to your replicated storage, and then you're going to insert a remote function and rename this to rebirth. Rebirth. Without the S, just like that. And then in your script folder, insert a script, rename this script to add rebirth server, just like that. In here you're going to want to say local rs is equal to game:get service replicated storage, just like that. You can say local rebirth event is equal to rs wait for child rebirth, just like that. And then you're going to want to come down and say rebirth event dot on server invoke is equal to function brackets player comma folder, just like that. And then come down the line, and then you're going to say if not folder or not rs wait for child rebirths folder wait for child find first child, and you're going to say folder dot name, then return end, and you're going to come down and say if player wait for child leader stats wait for child clicks dot value is bigger than or equal to folder wait for child brackets, and you're going to say cost dot value, then come down line and say, then you want to copy this here, copy that and paste it in, and say dot value is equal to 0, and then you're going to want to change this, but change the clicks here to rebirths, just like that, and you're going to plus equals folder wait for child brackets amount dot value, just like that. And then you're going to want to say copy this line here and paste it, and change this to gems, and change this to leave that the same, just like that. So now that we have that, and it's all, so if we can test it out, make sure there's no errors. If we make sure there's no errors, as you can see in our output, we can't see anything. So just stop that there. Okay, so basically what this does is we're making a variable called rs, and we're just getting our replicated storage. And here we are getting our remote function called rebirth inside of replicated storage, and renaming it to rebirth event, so we can call it later on the script. And we're going to say rebirth event dot on server invoke. So as soon as the server invokes it, we're going to create a function, and in there we're going to say player folder. And then we're finding, so if we can't find folder, or you can't find the rebirths folder and find any child with folder.name in it, finding the name, then return end, so basically this will end the script and it will try again. And then we say if player, and we find their leader stats, and we find it their clicks value, and if it is bigger than the cost value, then we are going to say we're going to set their clicks to 0 after they've rebirthed, and we're going to wait for their rebirths value, and we're going to add the amount on, and then we're also doing the same thing with gems, and we're adding the amount onto the gems as well, just like that. So now we've done that, we're going to start the most complicated script of this entire episode. So come to your button over here and insert a local script. You don't need to call this local script anything. And then you're going to want to type local rs is equal to game colon get service replicated storage. And so basically we're renaming the variable rs and we're saying this is replicated storage, so we can call it later on in the script. We can say local rebirth event is equal to rs colon wait for child rebirth. And so basically we're creating a variable rebirth event, and we're finding the rebirth remote function inside of replicated storage, and we're waiting for it to load. And you can say local player is equal to game.players.local player, just like that. And you can say local main frame is equal to script.parent.parent, just like that. So our frame basically. And then you're going to want to say repeat wait, just like that, until player colon find first child leader stats. So basically here we're getting the local players to the client, and then here we are grabbing a variable and we're finding our frame, and we're setting that to main frame variable to be called in the script, and then we're saying repeat wait until we can find leader stats in our player, just like that. And you can say local clicks is equal to player.leader stats colon wait for child clicks, just like that. And then you can copy this line, copy it and paste it, and you can set this to rebirths and change this here to rebirths. So basically all we're doing is we're getting two variables, clicks and rebirths, and we're finding them in lead stats. And so basically this is the clicks to get the player's clicks amount, and this is to get the player's rebirth amount. And you can say local button is equal to script.parent, just like that. And so we're creating variable button and we're getting, well, the button. And you can say if not rebirth. Oh no, hold on, we also made a mistake. We also need to say local rebirth folder is equal to rs colon wait for child rebirth folder colon find first child mainframe.name, just like that. And then, so basically we're creating variable rebirth folder, and we're waiting for the child replicated storage called rebirth folder, and then we're finding the first child, and we're finding basically the folders there. So now we can come down and say if not rebirth folder, then return end, just like that. So basically we're saying if we can't find a rebirth folder, then return and end script. So, and then let's go try it again. So then we're going to say main frame amount.text is equal to rebirth folder colon wait for child amount dot value dot, and then we're gonna say, let's say rebirths, just like that. And so this is basically saying we're setting the text of our amount to, well, so we're finding the amount of the rebirth in our rebirth folder, and then we're going to say rebirths, just like that. We're going to say mainframe.cost.text is equal to rebirth folder colon wait for child cost, just like that. And you're going to say dot value times rebirths dot value plus 1, and you say put that in brackets, just like that, and then you're going to say outside that dot brackets clicks, just like that. So basically here we are setting the cost to clicks, and we are timesing that by the amount of rebirths we have plus 1. So every time we rebirth it's going to increase the amount, so the game doesn't get easier for the player. And then we're going to create a function call this check brackets, come down and say if not rebirth folder, then return end. And so we're finding the rebirth folder, and if we can't find it, then end it. And you can say return brackets clicks dot value is bigger than or equal to, and you can say brackets rebirth folder colon wait for child cost, come out of these brackets here and say dot value times by, and then brackets rebirths dot value plus 1, just like that. And then that is that function there. So we can come down and then we can say function update brackets, and then we're going to say local has enough is equal to check brackets, and say if has enough, then button dot background color 3 is color 3 dot from RGB, and let's set this to 66,255,53, just like that. And then we're gonna come down, delete this end and say else, and then you're gonna set this to button dot background color 3 is equal to color 3 dot from RGB 213, 56, 56, just like that. So I'm going to explain what these two do now. So we're creating a function check, so if we can't find the folder, then we're going to end it. And then here we are returning, so we're finding is clicks.value bigger than the rebirth cost times the times rebirth value plus 1. And so basically that means, we're going to find the cost of it and we're going to times it to find it. So like up here we're going to keep increasing it, so we times it by that, so then we can find it if it has enough. And then here we're creating a function update, and we're saying local has enough is equal to the check function, and saying if has enough. So if this is true, then we're going to set the button background color to green, so it indicates to the player that it's green, so they can rebirth. And then else, or aka if they don't have enough, then we're going to set it to red, just like that. So now come down the line and say script.parent.mouse button 1 click colon connect function bracket, and come down the line, just like that. Now you gotta say local has enough is equal to check bracket, just like that, and say if has enough, then rebirth event colon invoke server rebirth folder, just like that. And so here we are saying, mouse on the player clicks, so when the player clicks the button, we're going to check if they have enough, and then if they have enough, then we are going to invoke the server, and that's going to activate our script to add the rebirth. So now come down the line and say mainframe colon get property changed signal colon speech marks name colon connect function brackets, and then come down the line and say rebirth folder is equal to rs colon wait for child rebirth folder colon find first child mainframe.name, just like that. And then you're going to want to say update brackets and say if rebirth folder, then mainframe.amount.text is equal to rebirth folder colon wait for child speech marks amount dot value dot rebirths, just like that. And then you're going to want to copy this line, come down the line and paste it in, and then you're going to want to change this to cost, change this to cost, just like that. And you're going to delete this here, delete the two dots, times it, bracket rebirths dot value plus 1 and then dot dot speech marks clicks, just like that. And now you wanna come down. So basically what this does is we're finding mainframe, and we're getting a property change signal. So when name changes, we're going to connect it, and we're going to find the rebirth folder, and then we're going to update. So we're going to run the update function and say if rebirth folder. So if we can find this here, then we're going to set the amount text to the amount that we want, and the cost text to the cost that we want, timesing it by the rebirth value, just like that. And then we're going to come down a line, and we're going to say rebirths colon get property changed signal brackets value colon connect function brackets, and you're going to come down that line, and you're going to say update brackets, and then you can say if rebirth folder then, and then you can just copy these two lines here. Basically just copy them and paste them in there, just like that. And so basically this is saying, when the rebirth value gets changed, you're going to connect it, you're going to run the update function, and then we're going to say if we can find a rebirth folder, then mainframe blah 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 dot text, and basically doing the same thing as what we were doing up here. So then after that, come down and say clicks colon get property changed signal brackets speech marks value colon connect brackets function. No, sorry, don't put function in there. And then you're gonna say, instead of function, say update, just like that. And you're gonna come down and you're gonna say update, just like that. And so basically that is our script here for the rebirth script, so you can go ahead and close that off now. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do is we're obviously going to want to display our gems and our clicks. So you can just hide the rebirth GUI, and you can open your click stats, duplicate this label, and you can move it down, etc. And then duplicate again, and you can move it down. And then in here, you're going to want to open your local script up, and you're going to want to set this to rebirths, just like that. And then you're going to change here to rebirths, and copy this here, paste it there, and paste it there, and change this to rebirths, just like that. And you're going to open this one here, open up the local script, and change this to gems, and you're going to want to change this to gems here, and copy the gems, paste it here, and paste it here. So now what we're going to do, for testing purposes, I'm just going to disable the turn that visibility to off, just like that. So just so we can skip the loading screen, just like that. So now if we click a bunch, we see we're getting our clicks, and we can open the rebirth folder, and then as you can see, our rebirth is green because we can afford it, look. And so if we click rebirth, then it takes away our clicks, adds 1 to our rebirths, and adds 1 to our gems. I forgot to change that, but yeah, just change the text to gems. And then as you can see, it's just increased it all, just like that. It's increased it, so it now makes it harder. But as you can see, we now get 2 clicks per click. So it gives us our multiplier, and then we can save up for our 200 clicks, just like that. So what we can do is we can quickly just change this here, click stats, open up these thing, and just change this here to gems, just like that. And then if you run it and just test it, as you can see, we've got no errors in our output. There you go, just like that. We have no errors in our output, so nothing's wrong. So if you have an error, then try and follow what the error is saying, and if it says it's in the script or line, etc., check it, because that means you've made a mistake and, well, it's wrong. And as you can see, our data saving has also saved our values just like that, and everything works just like that. So that'll be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment if it all worked for you, and make sure to subscribe. And next episode we will be doing so we're gonna make an auto clicker and a random gifts appear. So basically, well, for playing a game, we're gonna make random gifts appear throughout the game, and it's sort of like a token of appreciation, like thank you so much for watching. And so that'll be basically it. So I'll see you next time. Bye!